Good morning. How are you? So good to see you. Welcome. It is Wednesday, July 16th today, and this is our data roundtable for the day. So glad that we get to spend some more time talking. And it is been a good start to the day here on my end. It's very, very hot where I live, but I'm glad that I'm indoors. I'm doing my streaming, doing my work for my clients. Lots of stuff to take care of. Lots of stuff to take care of. So much growth has happened in my social media platforms the last couple of weeks. But that also brings more messages, more comments, more things to do. But I'm glad that I'm able to spend some time here with you in our data roundtable format. Now, if you haven't attended before, the whole point of the data roundtable is that anybody can bring up any topic. That's the whole point, that we can have an open discussion on articles, white papers, vendors, projects you're working on, questions you have, whatever the case may be. This is the format for it. Anything is a valid question. Just put it in the chat. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know what you're up to, and see if we can't help. See if that doesn't lead to good discussion for us. I walk in here with no agenda, just waiting to see what the group wants to talk about. That's one of the beauties of this format, that it can be whatever we want it to be. So thank you for joining. We are in the middle of the week, which means that we are all busy with work and with family and with keeping our households together, with cleaning and cooking and all that other stuff. Um, I have been busy onboarding a couple of new clients and also keeping up with my current clients, all of the items that, the ways I pay attention to them. This morning, I was doing some follow ups on phone calls I had with them. I also did some resume critiques, all kinds of different things going on here that take up my day. But let me know how you're doing. Let me know what part of the world you're checking in from. It's always good to hear from people. Always good to just kind of see how people are applying data science in different ways, right? And one of the skills in data science that we really need to develop is the ability to kind of put our ideas out there, get feedback, get other people's perspective, and see if that helps you any. Part of being a scientist is being open in that way, right? To be open to other people's views, other people's insights. So I like that this format allows us to do that. On top of that, we have a really core group of some great scientists that join me on a regular basis. So really grateful for their support. And that all contributes to the different pieces of conversation we can have. So we'll see where the conversation takes us today. Again, please feel free to say hello in the chat. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know where you're from. And we'll go from there. I'm sitting here at my desk this morning. I've got a variety of different screens that I'm tracking at any different time. So I have my Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, the link is below in the chat. I'm also tracking any new replies, or rather signups for my newsletter. That is also available. I send that out on a weekly basis. I try to keep it short, so it only takes about 1 minute to read the entire newsletter. I try to give you very focused, very concise information that you can use in your own data science practice or in your business. And then I'm also tracking the different replies I get back from clients. I try to reply to clients within 24 hours, my coaching clients, that is. So they have access to me via phone, email, text, and well, I guess that's it. So lots of things to track and stay on top of on my end. In addition to all of that, I still have to find time to do my own research, my own skill development, right? Because just like anybody else, I like to keep up with what's going on in AI. So I also have to make sure that I'm leaving enough time for all of that, and that's not always easy. That can be that can be quite a challenge sometimes. But I do my best, and So far, it seems to be working. Really happy with the responses I get on social media and the content I put out there. I love putting out the variety of reels and stories and memes for all of you. It makes it fun. It makes things exciting for me. So I hope that all of that continues as far as support from people. And I'm just going to keep on doing this. I'm just going to keep on sharing as much good information as I can. So again, if you're joining me in the chat, let me know where you're from. Let me know what's on your mind. And we'll see where the conversation takes us. I stream here on YouTube at 1500 GMT, and then I switch over to Instagram at 1600 GMT. So you're welcome to join us on both of those platforms. In the chat, we have Casual Economist. Hello, Dennis. Hey, Casual Economist. How are you? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well out there in Minnesota. I know you said you switched jobs recently, so hopefully that's going well for you. Um, Also in the chat, Kieran says, hello, sir. Hey, Kieran, how are you? Kieran, I think this might be one of your first times here, so welcome. Glad to see you. Kieran, in this format, the data roundtable, anybody is welcome to bring up a topic or questions or anything they want. So feel free to join us and feel free to jump in whenever you'd like. We'll see if we have other late joiners. You never know who's going to pop up. Sometimes we have bigger groups, sometimes we have smaller groups, but that's part of the beauty of this format. Anything can happen, right? Over on Instagram, we've been having a lot more discussions. Lots of job questions on Instagram. Instagram is all about the jobs and how to get hired. But we did have some interesting job discussion yesterday. I know it's tempting to always go after jobs because of money or immediate needs, but that's just not always a great recipe for success. So we had a little bit of discussion around that yesterday with a couple of the folks that were in the chat. Um, I try to be empathetic to realize that some people, live in other parts of the world where job choices might be limited or whatnot. But I'm just a firm believer that you should follow what you like, follow your passion, right? It's just it's so important in life, so important in life. Okay, so Casual Economist bringing up an article. I love this. I love when people bring up articles. I saw a headline saying 31% of teens like AI conversations just as much as human conversations. Oh boy. So, Casual Economist, what do you make of that? Obviously, I'm willing to give my view, but for you or for anybody else in the chat, what do you guys make of that? I saw something similar about that, about how there's a lot of younger people, I think even younger than teens, who are basically forming friendships with AI. Like they consider AI one of their friends. Um, so I don't know. Here's been my experience with some of the younger generations. And look, I don't mean to be picking on them because nobody always. It's not always easy to take feedback or be critiqued, right? But it seems like the younger generations have a hard time receiving feedback or being told anything that's even remotely negative, right? So to me, this would only perpetrate that because AI is rarely negative towards you on a personal basis, right? Or on any basis, right? So my immediate question when I read that, are they liking the conversations because AI is always nice, it's always complimentary, it's always friendly, it's never tells me anything even remotely bad about myself? Is that why? If that's the case, I'm not sure that's 100% healthy. Casual Economist says, I hate it if true. I have used the AI chatbots on IG to test them. It's so weird. Okay, cool. So, casual economist, you're actually bringing up two topics there because the IG chatbots are kind of like a whole separate topic. But let's stay with the first one about the teens and the human conversations. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I think there's cause for concern there, right? Because AI is definitely not always representative of the real world, right? And also, I mean, even if you were to take away AI, right? The younger generations really aren't great communicators, right? They've grown up in the era of texting and social media messages, right? DMs. I mean, like you can't get a younger person to even leave a voicemail, or they don't care about voicemail or anything else, right? And phone calls are even less, right? So if now they're going to be in their even more insulated in a single AI bubble, just talking to AI, I don't know. That doesn't sound healthy for the long term. That doesn't sound healthy at all. So let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, have you had extended conversations with AI? Because I don't think I have. In the sense that they haven't been like personal conversations. Like I wouldn't call them friendly conversations. They're useful to me because I get things out of them, things I need. I wouldn't say I've had like these extended, like, be my friend type of conversations, right? But casual economist, you're also bringing up the chatbots on IG. So that's a whole other ball of wax because I've fooled around with making my own chatbot on there. And there's a lot of limitations that I don't like. You're very limited in the custom information you can give it. And I think that stinks. But I have been impressed on how quickly they train. You can give it information. I think it's called the prompts, right? You can give so many prompts. I think you can give like 15 prompts. It's amazing how quickly it can take those prompts, ingest it, and then give you information back. I was super impressed by that. I thought that like it's been the fastest like, quasi training chatbot I've ever seen. So that's like a whole other conversation away from the teen stuff, right? But let me know what you guys think of that if you have played around with the IG chatbots. Casual economist says, I've heard many people use ChatGPT as a therapist. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that too. I'm definitely not using it as a therapist. I'll ask it for general advice, like, like between choices or to help me do research on like, like my garden projects or things like that. But yeah, apparently there's people who are very comfortable like spilling their guts to ChatGPT and kind of going from there. Um, I guess that's okay if it helps you in some way, right? I mean, I'd never want to discourage someone from helping their own mental health, but it is a little odd, right? Let me know what you guys think of that. Do you guys spill your guts to ChatGPT like that? I don't. I definitely try to keep things to projects or like research type of questions. But, that's also because I don't trust the tech companies and the data and what they're doing with that, right? Maybe if you start using ChatGPT as a therapist, all of a sudden you start getting these uh, advertisements for antidepressants and other stuff, right? Like that's not coincidence. All right. So Karen says, I'm from an electrical engineering background and I know basic Python, SQL, and Power BI. I'm confused between data science and cybersecurity. Which one should I pursue for a better career path? Um, Kieran, I feel like you've asked me this question before. Maybe you sent me a DM or something. Um, but you should choose whichever one interests you more. Like, what are you passionate about? Why do you like? So, give me a quick list. Why do you like data science and why do you like cybersecurity? I mean, I understand that I have viewers who kind of like those two fields. I get it. But why each one of them? And you should ultimately follow what you like, right? Like, what is it that you like? Um, Also, if you just know the basics of Python, SQL, and Power BI, you might not be ready for a job in one of those. You're on a good start, but I wouldn't call it a career path. I'd call it an education path. You'd still have to build a few more skills in order to, really put yourself out there on a career approach or a career level. So Kieran, feel free to put in more information in the chat, but that's just like my initial take on, based on what you wrote there. So remember, guys, and another question in front of the chat is, do you like talk in detail about your life or like you would to a friend or a therapist with ChatGPT? Like, are you comfortable doing that? Like just kind of spilling your guts to an LLM, like you have to a therapist or whatnot? Let me know. Let me know. I'm personally not there yet. I mean, obviously, I love AI. I use it on a daily basis, but I'm not there yet with being able to just share out all kinds of information. And like I said in a previous stream just last week, um, I have now gotten into the habit where I talk to the LLMs in the third person because it's building information on you, right? So I never say I am taking a trip. I say somebody I know is taking a trip, or if I were to take a trip, right? And that way, that data, those entries aren't associated with me. But who knows? I know that I'm being like very careful, borderline paranoid. But yeah, there could be other people on the opposite side of that who just don't care, right? Casual Economist says, so reading a little bit more, teams seem to like talking about serious and important topics to the AI. Wow. Okay. I mean, there's worse things in the world. But yeah, I mean, you know what immediately pops to mind, Casual Economist, and you guys might be familiar with this and would love to get your thoughts. I think it's somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. There was that whole myth or story about the Slender Man, right? The Slender Man thing, right? The guy that lives in the woods that appears or whatever. And the two girls who murdered it was three friends, and two of the girls murdered their one friend, right? And that was their defense, that the Slender Man told them to do it, or it was a sacrifice to the Slender Man, right? And that's become a big court case here in the US, and I think one of them like recently got out or something, or appealed for an out, like, because they were young and they were teens, and there's the question of how old they were at the time and all that. So what happens when a teen does something because AI told them to? Are we ready for that? Like, if two girls are willing to murder their friend because of some myth of something called Slender Man, then it's going to happen, right? It's just a matter of time where there's going to be a teen out there that does something because AI told me to do it. Like, what then? That's going to be a scary moment, right? Casual Economist says, I gotta test this stuff out. Well, don't get too don't get too crazy with the Casual Economist. We don't want to lose you into the void, right? Who knows what rabbit hole you'll end up down? Because there's been stories where people end up with psychosis or whatever, right? Because of AI. They end up changing like the course of their life because AI told me to, right? Casual Economist says, oh, that will be interesting. It will be, right? And doesn't it just feel like that's just like a matter of time, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm putting out a hypothetical scenario. Like, it's going to happen, right? I mean, if they're using it that much and they're being influenced that much and they're asking very, very personal questions, it's going to happen where a teen does X and it's going to be, something negative, something serious. And it's gonna be because ChatGPT said I should do this. Like, that's scary, right? Um, let me get rid of this. Let me just all right. We're usually pretty good about avoiding spam in our chats, but every once in a while. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about that, right? I mean, so there's a couple questions in front of the chat, right? Do you like spill your guts to ChatGPT? Like, do you actually like share intimate stuff with ChatGPT, or do you not? And what do you think's going to happen when somebody does something because ChatGPT told them to? It's only a matter of time, right? Casual Economist says, was that an ad? Yeah. One of the things that you learn starting your own channel is that you get bombarded with all these ads. Every yuck out there thinks they're some SEO or thumbnail expert. I get so many ads for these SEO knuckleheads and these thumbnail knuckleheads. I can do a better thumbnail for you. In the age of AI, nobody should be paying for thumbnails, right? So yeah, I get all kinds of nonsense. It's usually via email. It's quite brazen for them to come into a chat and say that. So anyways, but let me know what you guys think about that, right? What happens when a legal defense for somebody is, AI told me to do it. Don't blame me, blame ChatGPT, right? Casual Economist says, I've never asked any AI a personal question until today. Well, what's a personal question though? Because Casual Economist, I know that you're a great longtime supporter, so I know you use AI. But like, what's a personal question, right? Like for me, it's like a personal question would be like a health question or like a life question, right? But I mean, I ask it things for like trip advice or um uh well, I guess I guess that's it, right? As far as like, things that aren't like research, right? Casual Economist says, I'm going to pretend to be a teen and ask them a bunch of questions. Okay. Well, Casual Economist, you're on your way to starting a good LinkedIn article for your profile, right? Why don't you do that? I mean, think about that headline. I pretended to be a teen on ChatGPT and here's what it taught me. Like, that's a pretty good headline, right? So, Casual Economist, you're a smart guy. I bet you could find a way to formalize this into like a mini research study, just using prompts, right? Like, I think you could do something with that. What do you think? Yassine says, hello, sir. It's Yassine. How are you doing? Yassine, we're doing great. How are you doing? I mean, you just passed your master's yesterday. So, in my mind's eye, right now, you are just getting back home after being out all day and partying and women and like clubs and all that stuff. You're just getting home right now, just in time to log into this stream. But you've been going hard the last 24 hours. How close am I, Yassine? Let me know how close I am in the chat. But that's the way that I imagine the last 24 hours have been for you. And I also noticed you didn't say Tangier today, so I'm wondering if you've already moved back home. But good to see you, Yassine. Hope you're doing well. Yassine, the question in our chat right now is about ChatGPT and the way young people are using it as conversations, as friends, maybe even as therapists, or regular people who use it as therapists, right? So I don't know. So casual economists, you did kind of make me a little curious. I mean, what have you been asking if you haven't been asking things that are personal, or what? How do you define personal? Right. That's one of those relative things that for some people a personal question is innocent versus not for another person, right? But I mean, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I am cautious about what I share. Yassine says, none of that. We're waiting till my friend's pass turn. Oh, okay. Okay, so you have other friends in the class that are still waiting to give their presentation. That's what I'm taking that to mean. Okay, so it's not going to be party central until then, but once they're done, all bets are off. Okay, so casual economist says medical coding, math, and economics questions. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Um, okay, well, let me know what your research shows as far as the personal questions, because I think that you could probably write an interesting article if you were to say, "Here's the prompt I wrote, and here's the unexpected results I got," or "Here's the prompt I wrote, and this is where the conversation went off the rails," right? Or here's a prompt I wrote that was like a cry for help, and this is how ChatGPT responded, right? I think doing something like that might be interesting. So if anybody wants to take that on, I think that could be an interesting little project for you guys to consider. But yeah, I don't think I've ever asked ChatGPT anything, anything even remotely related to therapy or guidance like that. Yassine says, I ask ChatGPT all sorts of questions, anything I need to know or something that I need some opinion on. I've never thought of some limit to what I can ask. Okay. Okay. But does that worry you in any way, Yassine? Like the way they'll be using your data or things like that? Like does that concern you at all? Like like the privacy aspect of it? Because casual economists in some of the messages that he's written kind of shows that they're more closely aligned with my thoughts about data privacy because I'm very cautious about what I share. But maybe some other people aren't, right? Could be a personal difference, could be a cultural difference, who knows? If you're joining us in the chat, I still see a couple people coming in. This is a data roundtable format where anybody can bring up any topic that they'd like. Um, right now, we're talking about ChatGPT and how much information you share, how teens are using it. Because the article was proposed that, what was it? I think it was 31%. 31% of teens like AI conversations just as much as human conversations. Casual economist says, hold on a second. Um, yeah, we keep on getting that spam. So sorry, guys. I hate that's happening there. Um, it's usually not a problem, but sorry about that. Casual economist says, I'll definitely test out some stuff today. Questions only a teen would ask. Okay. Casual economist, actually, upon reading your original statement or the original headline, I, if I was cynical, you could also say, okay, so the headline is 31% of teens like AI conversations just as much as human conversation. So the cynical side of me would also say, ha, fake news. Teens don't have real conversations with humans anyways. Because have you ever tried to get your teen to talk to you? Like, it's hard. My niece and nephew, forget about it. They are terrible at conversation, right? So that really should have been like the bigger headline, right? That teens supposedly actually have conversations. Yassine says, just now I thought that I wouldn't ask anything that I won't be okay if it was leaked, but I have never actually done that without being aware of it. Um, well, you might not be aware of it, but Sam Altman's aware of it, right? Yassine? I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? Your enemy doesn't always steal from you directly, right? So yeah, you might not be aware of it, but they are, right? They have their collection systems in place, right? So yeah, uh, it's um, you actively have to be aware of it, right? Otherwise, um, you just never know. You just never know, right? All right, guys. Well, I think this seems like a natural stopping point. Thank you so much for all the contributions. I'm going to think about some of these items and let me know, casual economists, if you want to report back your findings about what it ends up like. But I think it'd make an interesting LinkedIn article if anybody wants to take that on. You know, kind of doing like it's going to have a tech focus, but the tech you're sharing are the prompts, right? Because we should all be prompt engineers to some degree, right? So let me know if you want to share those results out sometime in the future. All right, guys. So as always, please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you guys next time.